Hey, I hope you're all doing well. I wanted to do one more solo GM with the Clunter. If you haven't kept up with what goes on this channel, I do weird builds, and the one I did a couple of days ago is called Fear the Clunter, a clone hunter, get it? But whilst that build is fresh in people's mind, I really want to show that, it's a build that you can take into these GMs, into the high end, and do well with. I really stand by this build being super, super good, and I want to show that off. I've also got another solo Warden of Nothing GM using this build, which I might put up on the channel. I really just want to promote that build video as much as possible by saying, look at this solo GM, it can do it and it can do it well. Watch my video and give me money. Obviously, I'm joking. Obviously. But yeah, if you've clicked on the video, you've probably seen the runtime of this. It's going to be a bit of a long one. This GM is just kind of long in nature. There's a couple mini bosses that have just got really chunky health bars. So get comfy, put your jammies on, get yourself a drink, stick it on in the background, do whatever you want. This is just going to be a bit of a lip flapping, yapping session. And I'm just probably going to talk nonsense for half an hour, but for some reason people enjoy that. I hope. I think. I don't even know. I just... Anyway, that's what it's going to be. So, yeah. The build itself is Inmost Light, Coyote, Threaded Spectre, Winter Shroud, Snare Bomb Dustfield. And it makes this awesome combo of just clones everywhere. Just clone spam absolutely everywhere. You make copies of yourself and they just get shot for you. And it's genuinely surprisingly good at keeping you alive. I genuinely didn't respect Threaded Spectre as much as I should have, and I would have adored to have played this build when it was in its pre-nerf state. Bungie went so hard on the nerfs for Threaded Spectre, and I think rightly so for PvP, but a PvE just caught strays with those nerfs. Like, don't get me wrong, Threaded Spectre is really good. Hopefully you see that it's a good build and it can do some really cool stuff, but I don't think it fully deserved to get hit with as many nerfs as it maybe did just because it was oppressive in PvP. But, it's Bungie balancing stuff. You can't tell them. They kind of do what they want. I'm still missing Ensnaring, Slam, and Ascension actually being working as class items, but that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, the whole build is just about making a bunch of clones, and alongside all of them, you've got really good Transcendence, you've got a load of ability spam because Coyote gives you smokes, and then the smokes with Inmost Light are so efficient. And then once you hit Transcendence as well, you have Inmost Light, smokes, Hailfire doing damage over time, and it's just boom. Lots of explosions and purple smoke and green clones, and it's just fun. The build is just super fun to use. And yeah, I mentioned this when I was doing I did a solo GM before this, and then I did the build video, and I was like, it just feels like I'm having fun with a hunter build again. Like, don't get me wrong, I can go and I can play really fun hunter builds. I've got some favorites here, like the Atheris's Embrace one is still just hilarious for me to use. And then also the Fire and Ice one, the 10-second super one. If you can't already tell, I prioritize fun over function, but I still want my stuff to be strong. But anyway, that's aside the points. This one is just fun to use and good, which is nice, It solos GMs pretty confidently, and I never really felt too at risk here. Although, at the same time, I'm playing this GM a lot faster than I would normally. Basically, I got a 31-minute run, and I was like, I can probably do better. And then, I kid you not, I got about 4 or 5 runs in a row, where in this next room, I got Drainbane on the... Oh, it's not a Tormentor. Whatever the mini-boss is called in the next room, I just kept on getting Drainbane. And I was just there being like, right, I'm literally fighting a boss and runes of ads at red bar health. And then I just kept on dying, which was not fun. I wish Bungie would make it so that some ads wouldn't get banes, and that would absolutely be an ad that shouldn't get a bane. But anyway, my ego got in the way, and I was like, right, that's it. I'm getting a 30-minute run. To the point where I started getting like annoyed that I wasn't, which just made me more determined. So yeah, I'm running this quickly, which you can do. Don't get me wrong, you can absolutely run it like how you see here. But I would say I probably put my clones too close to enemies here, and it gets me in a couple hairy situations. I'd say in the boss room as well, I know that I was playing that maybe a little bit faster than I should have. And the Shrieker room in this gem as well is just a pain to deal with. I know you can put snipers on, but I'm not a massive sniper fan, or at least the only sniper I would want to use here is Critical Anomaly, because it's Chill Clip, and then Chill Clip can proc Winter Shroud in the build, so it seems like the right thing to do. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to use it. But actually, now that I say that, Icebreaker could work pretty well here. It's just that I really wanted to use Velocity Baton, because boosted Volatile Marksman gives you 10% class ability energy on a volatile detonation. It is so good. Like, watch here. Just watch the bar. There you go. Just ticks up a bunch. Almost back to full, just from shooting a few ads. That was like the perfect time to mention that. But yeah, that's why I'm running Velocity Baton here. It's destabilizing rounds repulsor brace. But again, there's also, if you see me just getting random void overshields, that is one of the seasonal artifacts. I can't remember the name of it, but it's where you just weaken something and you get void overshield for free. You literally just have to throw a smoke bomb and you get overshield, which is obviously, with how many smokes we're throwing in the double dodge build, really good. And yeah, I'm trying to think, there's also, maybe it's Malign Harvest or Void Flux, I can't remember the name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you just, I think there's 3 there's 3 void artifact perks. There we go. That's me Englishing good. In the artifact, and you just stick all of them on, and you're golden. One thing that's really nice about the smokes against this boss as well is that he gets stunned by them. So you kind of don't really have to worry all that much about this dude. It's just, okay, yeah, these ads. I've done this enough times where these ad spawns weren't consistent at all. They would kind of just like appear when they felt like it. Like sometimes I would just be playing and they would just dip in like they did right there. But yeah, it's not the end of the world. In fact, sometimes it's nice to give you like a little bit of fuel for your super. Oh, speaking of supers, in this build I'd say you've got 2 that you could use, mainly just because I think they've got good synergy. Silk Strike here is great. I don't know why, but you get double dodge resets on Silk Strike ending, which is really, really nice in the build. I mean, it's a dodge build, you get dodges, it's kind of like a no-brainer for using that one. But then the other I would say is Goldie. It's really nice for restoration from Faceted Purpose, and I say that in the video as well, pretty much to a T actually. I use that because of restoration. I think it's such a good keyword, and especially with Winter Shroud, it gives you a little bit of DR when you dodge. It's nice. It's a really nice one to have. But, I mean, don't feel locked into anything. I would still say Tether is obviously going to be a great super in PvE. It's literally never not been good in the entire history of playing Destiny. I can't remember a time that hasn't been just an amazing super. And then there's also Storm's Edge, which I guess if you're wanting to use Storm's Edge, you can. I'm not going to stop you. You can do it. But yeah, I would say Silk Strike or Goldie. They're definitely the preferences I have for this build. But yeah, when I was going through this, honestly, it was the boss room that was giving me more trouble than anything else. And being able to super and then have double clones afterwards, it was nice. It was a nice little safety net for me to have in that end room. Yeah, that's kind of it. You can see what I'm doing here, and again, you can see why I've got Velocity Baton on. Just, if you solely look at that little green box in the corner, you will just see how much it flies whenever I just shoot one shot of Velocity Baton. It just goes to full. Look, watch. Is it going to go? Yeah, there you go. It took a little while, but it got there. And yeah, this is what I was saying about this room just before. It's kind of like two really healthy, chunky bosses in a row that you kind of just have to chunk down, and it takes a little while, which is why this GM is a bit longer than most. And also, whenever I do these as well, I always try to go out of my way to actually kill as much stuff as possible and really show the build off in a way that I think is fun to watch. I never really do these to speedrun, but if I get a fast run, I'm all the happier for it. And yeah, here you can just see why Transcendence is awesome in this build. Literally just turn the boss into like a little Christmas tree. You know, he's red and blue, and he glows. So, but yeah, that's just smoke and the damage over time from Snare Bomb and Hailfire. One thing with this build as well, it's got really balanced Transcendence bars, which is nice. It means you don't have to stick any specific weapons in the build, which is something I really like when I play a build. Having weapon flexibility, especially when it's something where you've got not that many kind of ways to stun champs in a build, having the ability to just dip between weapons that you want to use is really nice. Not that this build struggles with champs at all. You've got facets of Dawn, so you've got Radiant, and obviously you've got up to 3 smokes at any time if you've got 2 dodges charged, and obviously Transcendence as well. If you've been watching, you've seen how much Radiant you get with the build. It's just a lot. But yeah, that's Radiant for Anti-Barrier. Winter Shroud for Overload, and then you can do something like Winter Shroud Chill Club or Winter Shroud Duskfield for Unstop. You've just got a lot of ways to deal with champs, and none of them are ever kind of a hassle to do. It's all pretty easy, to be honest. And yeah, that's kind of everything I can talk about as far... Oh, hold on, mods. I run Special Ammo Finisher with this. I find that the build, whilst having loads of abilities and being really spammy, it's spammy in a way where it's a lot of utility stuff and a lot of weaken. I find myself using I mean, you can see what I'm doing. I'm using weapons a lot of the time to be doing the bulk of my damage. This isn't like a consecration kind of deal where your abilities just absolutely rip through ads with damage. This is much more kind of like setting up. And these 2 abilities I've chosen, I say 2 abilities, Duskfield and Snare Bomb, they're so good at keeping your Spectre safe. Oh, sorry, the one I haven't really given tips on this GM, mainly because they're not needed. But this one room, go after these Shriekers straight away. If you've got Chill Clip on one of your guns, you can actually freeze these. And the alt fire of Queensbreaker as well, the single shot kind of wire rifle one, it blinds, and when you blind one of these Shriekers, they literally just kind of like close up. They don't get like the red debuff thing over their head and stop shooting you, but they're literally just close, which is nice if you want to do other stuff. I think I'm pretty sure I end up freezing one of these. You'll see it in a second, but yeah. Another reason why I really like Tanisha's, whatever, I can never remember the name. It's just such a good chill clip gun, and you only ever need 40 slow, because you do 40 slow, and then you do a Winter Shroud dodge, and then that's a frozen enemy. For me at least, the premier gun for this build. And also, it's so ammo efficient. We've got... Sorry, I was getting off track. I was talking about mods and somehow went on to guns. we're using special ammo finisher on the class item. That's what I was trying to link it to before I got sidetracked. But I really, really like having that on the class item because, again, you rely so much on your weapons for doing a lot of the damage in the build. And as efficient as the two guns I'm using here are, which is Velocity Baton, Tenacious, they still do run a little dry sometimes. So, oh, sorry. It's nice to have that ability to make special ammo just on demand. And you've got Double Reaper on the class item, and I have got Void and Stasis Siphon as well. So you're not making a crazy amount of orbs, but you're making enough where you can very consistently be topped up on your special. And also the bricks that you get, the special ammo finisher ones, they're not really big special ammo bricks, but again, because these guns are just so efficient, you never really need big stacks of ammo, so yeah. Also, specific to this gem as well, you can kind of blow a load of your ammo because as soon as you get to the end of the walkway of this next section, you can drop a rally flag, so it's no biggie. You got a load of stuff. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of it. I'm just going to talk about some stuff that I've been thinking about doing for the channel at the minute. And yeah, I've got some stuff on the agenda that I need to do at some point. I've got Discord server, that's one. I would love to start having a place for these because I see a lot of people say like, oh, you should try do this, and here's this really cool build that I've been using, and I genuinely do mean it when I'm like, I want to try that, but it's difficult to go back and track through YouTube comments when people say stuff. So Discord server for builds is something I really want to do, and also just for other stuff as well. I absolutely love my VGM. If you ever go to the playlist side of the channel, you'll see that I've got, I think it's now... No, I've just moved on to the 5th, actually. I've got 5 VGM playlists of just awesome music. Kind of stuff where you actually listen to it and be like, wow, this is like a good song. I genuinely listen to the music inside of those playlists. So maybe something where people can be like, I heard this really good OST, something like that. Oh, another thing I've been thinking about as well, I used to be in the Patreon for TDT, and he would do the exotic ideas, and I genuinely really enjoyed it. He's moved on to greener pastures at the minute, but it's something that I genuinely miss doing, and now I'm just thinking about like random exotic ideas, and I want somewhere to put them, so that could also be a thing that I maybe do. I wouldn't do it if he was still doing it, but he's doing a lot of Marvel Rivals stuff now, so, you know, it's kind of... The thing is, I wouldn't be doing it to, like, copy him. It's just genuinely something that I would... Like, I enjoyed doing it. It was really fun. In fact, I remember in one of them, I can't remember when the short was. I'll maybe do, like, a channel updates video at some point, but in one of them, he picked one of my ideas. You can go back. It was like a pretty early short when he started doing them, and I was like, holy shit, that's me on YouTube. And I was like, that's cool. And then I actually started doing it myself. But yeah, that's something I want to do. The builds would obviously be the big one. I could just do like Control-C, Control-V of like a I'm gonna battle these two builds kind of thing, but yeah, I don't know about that. Let the streamers do stuff like that. They're seeming to like that, so yeah, a Discord server. It's absolutely on the agenda, and I think also a second channel is something I want to do at some point. It kind of worries me. Like, I really want to do the VGM mixes, I really like doing the first one, and it's nice to kind of put that out, but this channel kind of doesn't feel like the right place for stuff like that. It also worries me that, you know, obviously it's using copyrighted stuff. It's VGM, so it's not as strict, but, you know, it's still, it doesn't really sit right with me that stuff like that is on this channel. So a second channel as well is something I might do just for variety, and yeah, it's something I gotta do. And otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. For stuff I've got planned for this channel, I mentioned it in, I kind of do like outros for the build videos, and if you stuck around, you'll probably know what I'm about to say. But a kind of state of Prismatic, I'm kind of toying with the idea of like, is Prismatic healthy for Destiny as a title? And that's one I've been meaning to do for so long. And in fact, at one point I had a video that I started working on, but I scrapped it because it's so hard to talk about Prismatic because I love using this subclass so much. And you're kind of just bashing on something that you really enjoy using. Like, I started this channel with Prismatic because I saw that trailer and I was like, oh my god. Like, my brain was just like, there must be so much you can do with this. And then it's kind of what made me start doing YouTube stuff, was Prismatic. I saw it and I was just thinking, this just seems to be so open to stuff that I love doing, which is just weird, odd builds. And turns out it was, and it's been so much fun doing it. But at the same time, I think Prismatic definitely has some problems, and not just kind of saying, oh, it's really overpowered. Don't get me wrong, Prismatic definitely is extremely strong, but I am leaning more towards the argument of it takes away from other subclasses and breaks down variety, if that makes sense. Kind of, why would I ever use Liar's Handshake on Arc when I can use Liar's Handshake on Prismatic? That's one of the big points I want to touch on in that video, but I just want to word it right. I don't want to come across as being ranty or complainy. That's one thing that I am never going to do on this channel, is just be a little drama farmer. It's just not me at all. I don't want to do it. So I want it to be constructive, and yeah, that's another thing I want to do. In fact, I was thinking about this. If I do that video, as a follow-up, I would say as a community thing, say, give your ideas for a reimagining of Prismatic. What you think Prismatic maybe could have been. And I mean top to bottom. Like, do you think Transcendence would be in your version of Prismatic or not? Would you have entirely brand new abilities, or would you have it in the way that it is now, where where it takes abilities from one subclass and all of this stuff? Like, how would you change it? And then kind of put it through the ringer, see if people vote on stuff like this, and then get a proper graphic designer and maybe even get some 3D animations done, put in a little bit of my money, and just see what a version of Prismatic maybe could have looked like. I mean, obviously you can only do so much. It's not like I can just be like, I need a Bungie employee to do this for me now. But yeah, just kind of like what Prismatic maybe could have been, and then vote on the best version of community ideas, and then make it a thing, or at least maybe give it like some animations and stuff like that. I think that would be so cool. I think that would be not only fun, but, you know, also interesting to see maybe what Prismatic could have been. I'm sure Bungie toyed with ideas different than what we have right now. So, so yeah, that's something I would like to do, but that's very much kind of in the pipeline. not something that's happening tomorrow or maybe even next week or in the month. I have to say, the State of Prismatic one is definitely the video that I'm going to be most focused on. And I also really want to make a Ionic Sentry Warlock build. I have one with Verity's Brow, and I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and make it. If you don't know, this is another thing which is really annoying, is that Verity's Brow doesn't work with Ionic Sentry. It was such a obvious thing to do. It would have been so cool, and they didn't do it, and I'm there like, oh my god, why didn't they make this a combo? It just kind of makes sense to have it as a combo. You would just assume that it would work, and it didn't, and I was like, oh, I'm gutted. Sorry, when I say that, I mean as in the damage that Verity's Brow gives isn't added to the Ionic Sentry, but Feel the Flames, which is when you throw the grenade while you have a stack of the Verity's Death Throws is what it's called. When you have a stack of Death Throws, does work with the Sentry. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and make the video and just say, listen, if Bungie changes their mind at some point in the future, this might be getting the damage buff, but right now, it only gets Feel the Flames. Sorry, I've been yapping for how long now? 26 and a half minutes. My voice is going. But yeah, that's some of the stuff I want to do on the channel and things that are on my radar. But yeah, in other news, okay, the other news hasn't been so good, at least for Bungie. The marathon stuff, you've probably seen a million people talk about it now, and yeah, people are stretching this out quite a lot, but obviously it was a pretty dire situation. But anyway, that's kind of what it is. So yeah, I don't know, it may be more good news. I'm getting nice weather at the moment, which is rare for the UK, but actually getting some. So I'm tempted to get a paddleboard out. I've got one tucked away somewhere in my place, so I might have to pull it out, and hey, that could be second channel content. I can take you on a paddleboard around where I live. Be like Kahuna does paddleboarding. Yeah. Oh, also, completely unrelated to Destiny, I've been getting back into TCG of Pokemon, and holy shit, is it so awful right now. It is like everyone's investing and everyone's scalping. Everyone's doing... Okay, maybe the investing part is like, you know, oh well. But the scalping part is the big offender. It's just people absolutely scoffing down just products everywhere and then reselling them. It's, again, maybe something for a second channel. I don't really know what the second channel is going to be. It might just be some amalgamation of just whatever I'm feeling at the moment. And maybe I'm happy with them. And this, I'm pretty sure I kill him in the super. Boom. Solo GM done. Oh my god. Right, do I do the double dodge and hit the emote? Yeah. Maybe that's the thumbnail. Alright. Let's see. Drip check. Ooh. And then, yeah, you see. 450 kills, 160 orbs. It's pretty okay. But then, with the subclass and what we've got. And if it load, there you go. Silk Strike, Gamblers, Snare Bomb, Dustfield, Spectre, Winter Shroud, Ruin, Dawn, Mending, Protection, Hope, and Purpose. And then mods are Double Siphon on the helmets. There you go. Triple Focusing Strike, Void and Stasis Reserves, Stacks on Stacks, Special Ammo Finisher, Double Reaper. And then there's the artifact perks. Main one to look at is Boosted Volatile Marksman. And yeah, that's like the big important one. Anyway, that's about it from me. That's it.